Hey there, everybody. It's a nice day to do another movie. A movie that I recently made, but didn't thought I did a good job. I had to see it again because I forgot a lot of things. Scream 4 from 2011, the last movie Wes Craven made. Rest in peace, Wes Craven. One of the better horror directors we had. Okay, okay, he did some weird movies in the earlier times of his career, but they all had to do that to step up the ladder. But Scream 4 is probably my second favorite of the series. David Arquette, Courtney Cox, Neve Campbell. Besides that, Dewey, Gale, Sydney. Besides them, you've got Emma Roberts, who also plays in one of the American Horror Stories, the 1984 one, the slasher kind of series of American Horror Story. She plays Jill Roberts. She's the niece, I guess, from Sydney. You've got Alison Brie from Community, the sitcom TV series, which I really like. She's Rebecca, the agent of Sydney, because she wrote a book and she's the agent. And you even got Anna Paquin, yeah. She plays a girl named she's Rachel, but she is famous from True Blood, and basically she goes full nudity. If you want to see some sex, you go to True Blood, because Anna Paquin wants to fuck every vampire she got. She's like a vampire seduces women with its charm. You see her tits bouncing all the way, like this. Woohoo! Like it's going. I mean, yeah, she's a pretty horny bitch. Hayden Panettiere, Kirby, basically a actress who, after the movie, everybody liked, and it was sort of sad that she got killed, but she gets stabbed, but in a way that two stabs, in a way that I'm gonna spoil this movie, by the way. Yeah, okay. So for spoilers, get the hell out of here, and see the movie first, and come back again. I really like that. Will be fun. But she gets stabbed by one of the killers, and he doesn't finish the job. We don't see her alive at the end, but you could make up that she just bled and she was bleeding, but she wasn't dead yet. Okay. You've got oh yeah, you got what's that? Oh yeah, Olivia, which is the kill that every Scream movie has a sort of a, because let's just face it, all the Scream movies are the bland kills. Every time the same way: stab, 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 slash throat, stab, slash throat. That's the only one. That's all those people. That's the thing that we always get. And of course, before this movie, Scream 4, they knew that this was going to be R-rated. They wanted this to be R-rated and more vicious. And they did, because the killers here are more vicious. They're doing more extreme stabbings, still stabbings, but more extreme, like multiple stabs and shit like that. Um, but like in any Scream movie, you have one kill that's sort of gory and gnarly to say the least, and it's the first one. Drew Barrymore is hanging from the tree, gutted, and the guts are hanging out. Then in Scream 2, I guess it's the scene where the lady in the theater is getting stabbed multiple times, and she's walking slowly towards the theater, getting up the stairs, and she's like, everybody's cheering because they think it's a joke, and she cries out like, ah, and they hyper scream, and they know something's wrong, and she falls to her death. It's not necessarily a gory kill, but it's a kill that gets to you. Then, of course, in Scream 3, we get nothing. We get fuck all. That's what we get. And on this one, we get also one of these kills, and that's Olivia, one of Jill Roberts, Emma Roberts, her friends. She basically gets it bad. But first, let's talk about the beginning. So the beginning is pretty. It's unique. You've got a movie in a movie in a movie. So you've got Stab 5 or something, and you see two girls getting killed in the house. Okay, then they get the phone call, yada yada yada, and if you hang up on me, I'll gut you like a pig, things like that. It's the same voice that are in the other movies, because that's an actor's voice. That's not just computer generated or with a modulator for voice modulator app or something. It's an actor. Then we go to Anna Paquin and her friend seeing the movie, and she's like, "Oh, again that shit. It's so bland. It's always the same thing." And I'm kind of agreeing with her, but she's like rambling, and the girl next to her is like, "Fuck you," just slashes her in the gut and slashes her again. And why? Because I just can. And you get Stab 6 or something. You get It's the New Stab movie. So that was the new Stab movie. So the new Stab movie was watching an old Stab movie, and then the movie starts. So the movie starts again, of course, with the first kills. Two girls who get stalked, and they get killed same way. Just one girl goes upstairs, the other stays downstairs, and she gets stabbed, and the other one comes down and she gets stabbed, and bam, we got a murder investigation, right? Now, what I liked about this movie, you've got one crazy kill. So Olivia is a friend of Jill Roberts, one of the Kirby, Olivia, and Jill, and she's lives over the house, just over the next. She's living in the next house over Jill, and they can see each other's bedroom, right? And then you've got a great scene where the killer is. So Jill and Kirby are in the room. Olivia is in the other room changing, and they get a phone call. I'm in your closet. So yeah, I'm in the closet. Yeah, right, sis. Yeah, yeah. You're not in the closet. Oh no. Check it out. She goes to the closet, opens the closet, and goes to the closet. You're a liar. You're not in the closet. I didn't say it's your closet. Then the killer comes out of the closet of Olivia's room, and they see Olivia being killed and ripped to shreds, and the killer goes down on her, and she's getting gutted, and she's getting he he pushes her out of the window, then puts her back in, and Sydney tries to wants to go to the police because they have a police detail in front of them. Of course, the deputies are nowhere to be found. Two guys, nowhere to be found. Okay, she goes to the house herself. She fights with Ghostface, and she apparently learned some self-defense skills because she's really, I mean, at some point she does a high kick in his face. He falls down, and then it gets a little bit weird because the two deputies enter the house, and she says in a second, and she says the killer is behind me, and he's gone, like he evaporated. I mean, he wouldn't have the time. He was knocked out by that kick, and he's gone in a second, in less than a second. I mean, yeah. So okay. And they go to the room, and the room is completely covered in blood, and she's lying there. The guts are hanging out. That's a fucking gnarly kill. And I think Wes Craven really wanted to be. This movie was a little bit more vicious, yeah, really, because the killer does stab deep, stabs like multiple times, and does some creative things, like Alison Brie gets stabbed twice in the gut, and then below it's in the hospital, and below the hospital, Dewey he's now the chief of police. He has his press conference, and he's saying we have it under control. We're gonna find the killer, and then you see Allison, falling from a building on a van of a press van, and Gail is like, "You've got it under control, right?" Because Gail is living with Dewey, but she wanted to work together with Dewey, but Dewey is now the chief of police. He can't. She is now writing novels, but she wants to be a reporter again, and okay, she's saying, "I'm going rogue." So, like, yeah, she's mocking him basically, and Dewey also has this deputy, Judy Hicks. Basically, she's always she's doing her utmost best to pleasure Dewey, and she's making lemon cake squares, and she's like in each other's hair with Gail, and she knows she has a crush on Dewey, but she's like, I like Gail in this movie. She's really tough. She's really ballsy. I mean, figuratively speaking, she's really got guts in this movie, and like in the first one, she's really going after it. She really wants the story, and she meets these two guys from the two geeks, basically, which one of is Rory Culkin, the brother of the which Culkin is the brother of Home Alone, and in any case, the brother of the Home Alone Culkin, Rory Culkin, plays Charlie Walker, and the other one is named Richard, and they're like and he has this camera. He's always on. He's always streaming live, and she says, "What's that on your head? We're streaming live. Okay, put it off for a second. No, we can't do that. We have an audience to keep satisfied. You fucking get it out." She's like, "Fucking put it out." And she's like, "Whoa." And she says, "We need to work together. I heard you're in a movie club." "Yes, a film club. We talk about horror movies and things like that. And okay, I want to be there, and I want to hear your thoughts about this killer. You maybe know some things." "Yeah, but we need. Can you get Sydney? It would be much cooler to get Sydney." She says, "Okay, I'll get Sydney." Fucking retards. She's like, she's really good. She's really good. She's not. She's not so, Botoxed up. She's already doing that shit, but it's not extreme. It goes extreme in following movies till a point that it gets even really distracting. That it's so ugly because they think they are beautiful. Sorry, I had to check. They think they are beautiful, but they're not. They're like plastic doll faces. I mean, and here she's okay. She looks okay. In my opinion, from the Friends women, you got Rachel, Monica, Phoebe. Phoebe is the one I think didn't use anything and is just using natural products, and she looks fine. Jennifer Aniston does use some probably Botox, but not too much, and she's actually the one I think is the most beautiful of them all. I always, as a kid, had a crush for Rachel. But yeah, Rachel was sort of the horny one of the three women in Friends. But yeah, here in this movie, she's not crazy Botoxed yet. So we get they're in the film club. Sydney agreed to come, and they're basically saying that the killer, the game has changed. Anybody can die. What they're saying is that the killer will use a camera because the killer wants to film his own kills and make a collection of it. And it's all meta nowadays these days. The killer is using cameras whilst he's killing, and this and this and that. And eventually they are saying what it always ends up with a party. They say, okay, is there any and Gail, is there any party going on? Well, there's Stabathon. Where the fuck is that? We can't say that. It's a sort of undisclosed. It's a undisclosed location. It's more of an invite thingy. And she says, "Come on." And he says, "But it's Friday night. There are 10 parties that night." She goes, "Fuck you. Where's the location?" Eventually, she probably gets the location. And I like Rory Rory Culkin. He's always doing. Oh, that was great. Like, so every reaction of Gail, even when she's just, she's busting their balls or something, he's always like, "Oh, that was great." He's almost getting an orgasm. So, but yeah, he also has a visible crush on Kirby. Kirby is like sort of saying she always replies, but at some point she gets to she also at some point she wants to hook up with him. Yeah. Um, at the very end, um, they get so Gail gets to the it's a barn, the Stabathon movies. So basically they do all the Stabathon movies from one to what, seven or something. I'm not sure how many Stabathon movies they had, and every time they say no or this and that, you have to drink. Like a drinking game. It's just putting all these cameras, and you've got that cool scene where she's seeing a camera that's not from that doesn't belong from her, and she's getting closer, and she takes one of her cameras and holding it like this. She called Dewey because she knows there's something wrong here, and Dewey doesn't believe it, and then he sees on the phone the camera, and the killer is coming at her because she's holding a camera like that. She sees and they get in a scuffle. Eventually, she gets stabbed in the shoulders. Dewey comes, shoots like a blind bat. He shoots all over the place. The thing with Dewey is he comes in and look at all the movies. The first movie gets a knife in the back. Gone. Second movie, he gets stamped like shit. Third movie, he gets fucked up and tied to a chair. Almost, and I'm thinking he killed Parker Posey in that movie because he's shooting all the windows, and I'm not sure if he's shooting all the windows, including the one where Parker Posey was behind. So, and this one, he always comes too late, and eventually what happens is there's a party happening at Kirby's house, and Rory Culkin is there, Richard is there, Jill Roberts is there. Jill Roberts, her ex, is there apparently for some reason. I think he got a text, but he probably got a text from the killer to be there because nobody knows who invited him. And eventually Richard is the first one to go, and he gets stabbed, and he's lying on the ground and saying, I'm gay, would that help? And because in the film club he says you basically have to be gay to not get killed. He's like, would that help? And then he stabs him, and it's like it's a funny kill. But then Trevor is the boyfriend of Jill Roberts, ex-boyfriend basically, but he wants to win her back. They're going upstairs, and Kirby is alone with Rory Culkin, and she wants to kiss him and this and that, and Trevor comes along and fucks it all up and cock blocks Rory Culkin basically, and he's pretty upset about it and goes away, and she says, who invited you here? Get out of my house. And eventually I think he goes back to Jill Roberts, to her room above, and Sydney arrives at that moment. Now Sydney's arriving, and she comes across Kirby. Now she's saying, I can't find anybody here, everybody's gone. And she goes to her room, and there is a locked door there, and Rory Culkin is there. He's Charlie Walker. He's like, let me in. And he has blood on his hands. It's not my blood, it's Richard's blood. I found him dead, let me in. And Sydney says, if you don't trust him, don't let him in. She says, sorry, Charlie, I can't let you in. And he said, why? Then he gets snatched by the killer, and she's, oh no, and he gets manhandled or whatever handled. Um, Sydney goes upstairs because Kirby says Jill is upstairs. She goes upstairs and she doesn't find anybody, and eventually at that moment Kirby sees Rory Culkin tied to a chair like in Scream 1, the boyfriend from Scream 1, and he's tied to a chair, and the killer calls, do you like scary movies? What weapon? Yes, what weapon? So we're gonna play. What weapon did Jason use? Like machete. What? And at some point, she's just, what movie was, and she's spouting out all these movies: The Hills Have Eyes, Suspiria, Deep Red, Jason Goes to Hell, and eventually the killer is not talking anymore, and I win, did I win? I won, did I won, I won. She goes to Rory Culkin, she gets him loose, he has a knife and stabs Kirby, and he says, you fucking bitch, 4 years in class and now you want to kiss me? 4 years? Stabs her again, and then she says, Charlie, and he's kind of, yeah, he has kind of he has feelings for her, so he's sort of, he's going away, and he's like angry going away. That's why Kirby is, but yeah, potentially alive, because he didn't finish the job, really. So eventually he comes across Sydney. He's holding a knife against Sydney's neck, and she's fighting with him, and of course she knows how to fight, but then the other ghost face stabs Sydney in the back, taking off the mask. Who we got there? Jill Roberts. And basically the reason why she, okay, so they get Trevor, he's bounded, and they eventually, Rory Culkin has a gun, she shoots Trevor in the balls first, because she doesn't, I'm not a girl you cheat on, bam, in the balls, then bam, through the head. Then she stabs Sydney again. Before she does that, she says, he's explaining that she wants to be, it's always Sydney that, Sydney this, Sydney's glorious, and this and that, I want to be in the spotlight. So that's her reasoning of killing people. She wants to be in the spotlight, and she killed her fucking mom for that, because earlier in the scene, her mom also gets killed. She's fucked in the head. And those two deputies that are also idiots, basically, the one white guy, one black guy. The white guy gets stabbed in the back, and the black guy gets stabbed, so like here between the eyes, which is, you should think it's gnarly, but it's made funny because the blood is running. Okay, he can't see shit, and he's like slamming like this, and he's saying, he's falling on his knees, and he says, fuck Bruce Willis, and I'm not sure what the reference of that was, and he falls to the ground. I'm really not understanding that. What was there a reference of maybe Die Hard or something? I'm not sure, but I mean, Jill killed basically everybody, including her mom. No big loss there, she says. She's basically a pure psycho. She also kills Rory Culkin because she doesn't need him. She wants to be the star alone, not them together. Basically, what she wants to do is make Trevor to be the killer, and he kills everybody except her. But she does this weird shit, like she takes Trevor's head and scratches, her with his hand, so flesh is underneath his fingers. He puts his hands, so he's dead already. He puts she rips the hair, a piece of hair out of her head. Then he has hair in his hands. Then she takes the knife and she goes like this and does like this against the wall. I mean, she's completely fucked up in the head, and she's, and at the end, okay, she's sitting there and she's so glad, and she says, maybe Gail and I can write a book. We're stab sisters, right? In the shoulder. Yes, yes, Dewey says yes. And Dewey goes to Gail, but Dewey says to Jill, Sydney's not dead yet. She's in ICU, but she's gonna make it. She's like, oh, okay. So she, of course, tapes her, gets up, takes everything off, and goes to Sydney's room. And whilst in Gail's room, Gail says, how did she know I was stabbed in the shoulder? Dewey goes like, oh shit. He goes to again, Dewey, being the rescuer that he is, he gets fucked up with a bedpan where you're shitting and fucking pissing. Bam, 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 4 times, and he's knocked out. Dewey's gone again, our savior. And then they're sort of fighting, but of course Sydney's losing because she's really hurt. She's opening the wounds, and then Gail comes in, and she took the gun from Dewey and she shoots at Gail, but Deputy Hicks comes in and takes her, saves her, and they're behind the bed, and they say, come out, you bitches. Okay, Hicks comes out, and she says, now let's not do something stupid here. Bam, she shoots her in the heart. Don't say what I gotta do. Now you skinny bitch, get out of here. And meanwhile, when she comes out, she says, can I say one thing? Yeah, clear. And then you see Sydney with those, electric pads. Bzzz, zap her to dead. Of course, they see Dewey, he's still alive, he's alive. Judy Hicks is alive too, because she says, always wear a vest. She basically goes down because she is a little bit in shock. But then, of course, Jill isn't dead yet. She takes a piece of glass, but Gail sees this, and she gets shot in the heart, I guess, and she's dead. And the movie ends. And what is this movie? Why? Okay, this movie, I like this movie because all the actors are fun. They had good characters. Dewey was not as annoying, but he's, like I said, he's always more of he's not a hero, he's always a klutz. But it doesn't have that stupid song, dum 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 dum, with him, which makes him more stupid. And like reacting like, oh, really? Oh. He has, in Scream 2, you see it when he's talking to Randy. Are you a killer? Oh. Jesus. Now, in this movie, is a little bit mature, because this movie took a long time between the third one and this one. I think it's almost 10 years in between. Yeah, I'm thinking that a long time in between 3 and 4. So you see, they're already matured, and but he's being more serious in this one because he's also the chief of police. Gail is great in this one. She takes it, first. She goes rogue. She goes all the way, like her old reporter days, and she wants to report it. but she gets stabbed doing it in the process. Luckily, not dead. Sydney is looking very beautiful. I would say. I think she doesn't use Botox at all. I don't think so. Um, Emma Roberts is a good actress. She, like I said, she plays in American Horror Story. Uh, Alison Brie is good. You know, even Anna Paquin for that short role. Hayden Panettiere, Hayden Panettiere was apparently, after the movie ended, a fan favorite of the movie because she was a, not a geek because she's a beautiful woman, but she wasn't a geek, but she was a geek because she was a horror geek. She had all the horror movies, and she went to the Stabathon, and she's kind of flirting with Rory Cole. She didn't have the standards of I need a jock. That's the only one, I broke a nail. No, she was like a yeah, a cool lady. She was a cool lady with respect. But I think that's the reason why I'm gonna tell you this already, that she later on comes back. And Deputy Judy Hicks, well, she was funny. She was the comedic relief, basically. Uh, like being so hyper in her job that she just doing a perimeter check. Sheriff, like this, and she's just really happy, and she's doing that job really seriously. Uh, and even in the next movie, she gets a promotion, so um, she becomes sheriff. She basically, what she did was the good. She did it right by. She did. I mean, basically, she was more of a hero than Dewey was, because again, Dewey fucking bedpan to the head, and Hicks saves Gale, and then of course gets shot, but she's clever enough to wear a vest. So yeah, this movie, yeah, it's one of my favorite ones actually. It sort of brought me back to the first one, sort of. Rory Culkin, yeah, okay, and Jill Roberts. I think I'm always thinking like, who did the most kills? And I'm thinking in this movie, it's probably Rory Culkin who did the most kills. Although he wasn't a strong guy, he didn't look like a strong guy, so maybe that's why he gets his ass kicked by Sydney. But Sydney definitely knew how to defend herself, so I think she just learned to defend herself. I don't think Jill Roberts did a lot of killing. He was sort of, because Culkin was sort of Charlie was sort of the brains. I think she killed her mom. And actually, when I saw the movie the first time, I didn't see any spoilers or shit of that, like trailers. Actually, was sort of surprised that she was a killer. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And I knew that Rory Culkin or Richard was one of the killers, but not Jill Roberts. That was a surprise. So yeah, it's a good movie. The only bad thing I have to say is that Dewey is always being the hero that fucks up, basically. But here he's a little bit more serious because he's a sheriff. But he doesn't have the limp anymore. But it's, in my opinion, my second favorite. If yours, don't know, but the fourth one is my second favorite. The first one being the first one, best one for me. Yeah, it's time to go. See you next time. Bye bye.